KD7ZYM monitoring. KD7ZYM clear. KD7ZYM monitoring. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater. It spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. Google WW7ATS. That'll take you to our homepage where you'll see the frequencies that we transmit on, a little bit of history of the club, and also you'll find a link on the front page where we stream on YouTube. Our net's held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. Hearing none, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Already checked in by video this evening is Ron, KD7QKU, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check in? Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. We'll start off with Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay. If the noise goes away, will you switch me in, James? Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. This is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, I still don't have any internet. They came out a week ago, you know, my phone and internet quit. They came out a week ago and fixed my phone, but the guy said he wasn't qualified to fix the internet, so I'd have to have somebody else. Well, then the phone quit again, so I called him. This time I got a guy in Utah, nice young man, explained the situation, told him I was really getting tired of this. He said, okay, no, I'll get you fixed this right away, just hang on, sir. Then he comes back and says, oh, well, I'm sorry, but it looks like I can't get anybody out till the 5th of, May? And I wanted to say the 4-letter words, but I said, okay, that's fine, thank you. I hung up and I called over and got a hold of the people at Rainier Connect, and everything was fine, and then they called me back and said, we can't transfer your phone because your phone line isn't working. We can only transfer an active phone number. So I said, we'll have to wait for them to fix it. So then I talked to Joanne. I said, we really don't need that phone number. I mean, that's a new phone number since we moved here to Tacoma. We haven't had it for years. So I called them back and said, give us a new phone number. So she said, fine, we'll be out Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock to hook you up then. So we'll get back on the air, I hope. Let me let her drop. I don't know if you can hear me, but back to net, KD7QK, someone else can go.
WW7ATS in Port Angeles.
N7KC. There we go. The noise has to stop before I can have a control grayed out. You know, my transmit's grayed out until everything's quiet for a few seconds. So here I am. Anyway, N7KC, in Port Angeles. Good to see you all. Bert looks like he's still on the high seas. Be fun to find out where he is. What's up? I haven't seen you in a couple of sessions. I don't know. I just got really behind and tired, and I just couldn't make it. But we're back up and running now. Beautiful, beautiful day here today. Oh my goodness, the nicest thus far this year for sure. And there you go. I don't have anything else, Dave. Back to you. This is N7KC in Port Angeles.
KC. Let's go to the high seas to Bert, N7CS.
Yeah, hopefully people can hear me. There's probably a lot of wind noise if you can hear me, so I'll make this really quick. I'm going to head back downstairs after this round because it's windier than I thought it would be up here. So apologize for the noise. This is Bert in Echo Link. More on where I am next time in N7CS back to that.
N7CS, thanks for that. What's that nautical term? Yo-ho, blow the man down? Well, anyway, set your sails. Let's go on down to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Okay, hey guys. Good to see you all in here tonight and hear you, and some interesting views of the ship tonight. We've got going on from Bert. Boy, just a beautiful day today. I got out and took a walk out near where I used to work at North Creek at the wetlands there, and not a lot of wildlife. We did see one great blue heron and several ducks, and walked really uncomfortably close to Canadian geese with goslings. They were on one side of the path. The two of us walked on the other side of the path, and while they were like dropping their heads and hissing a little bit, they let us pass. So that was my excitement for the day. I'll send it back to Ned, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Kent, to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm just having a ball watching Bert's screen. In fact, Bob, you could go ahead and put that, take me off and put Bert on. I mean, gosh, this is really fun. Where are all the people? That's what I'm wondering. You know, it's like he's got the whole ship to himself. My goodness. Yeah. Oh, wait, there's one person. Oh, and I saw two people. That's wild. Well, I guess I'm going to assume we can talk right over the noise. At least everyone else did, so I guess you guys can hear me okay. So I'll just pick up on that story of the water heater. So we got a new water heater, and actually I think I told you guys about it on like a week ago Saturday, and so I was kind of on pins on needles what to do if I could make it to Monday, and we did. Especially when we figured out that it was the water tank was only leaking when we were using the hot water for like washing the dishes or showering. But so we'd clean up the leak and it wouldn't leak again for the rest of the day or night. And so that was pretty weird, but you know, it's a leak, you know, so obviously there's something wrong. And so I figured out what was going on. In fact, this is a word of the wise that sometimes lack of maintenance can be a good thing. So in other words, by not doing what I'm supposed to do and draining the sediment out of my hot water tank, you know, annually or semi-annually, you know, or to at least 2 or 3 years, you know, you should do it. But I guess you know where I'm going with this. I never did do it, ever. And the tank was 16 years old, and so what was going on is the sediment was clogging up the leak in the tank. And so the only time then it would leak, of course, is when the hot water would get used, the mixture would start spinning around inside, the movement of the in and out water, that's what would cause it to leak. So, but then of course, when we weren't using it, the sediment would plug up the hole and it would stop leaking. So now I'm thinking, if I do what they want me to do and drain the sediment out every year, then when it finally gets another leak, complete disaster. So now I'm not sure what to do. I kind of like the idea of never draining the sediment, and then if it gets a leak, it gets plugged up automatically. So you guys tell me. I don't know. K7ATS, back to net control.
K7ATS. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Dick, if you go on YouTube, there are people who will tell you both ways, that you should routinely drain the tank, and others who say you should not. I don't know. I had a tank which I did not drain for 20 years or so, and I didn't have any problems with it. And then I had another one that I drained regularly, and I didn't really have any problems with it either. I don't know what to say on that. So I don't know. Good luck. But it's good to know that you got a new water heater anyway. So you should be good for at least a few years. Check how long the warranty is, and you should be good for that long, maybe plus 1 or 2 days. What can we say? Let's see. Bob, drop their head and hiss. Oh man, that sounds like what my wife does every now and then when I tick her off. That kind of struck home with me. Bert, yeah, we saw you on deck there, and it's windy. I figure you're probably over there in Honolulu. Someone put up a AIS display. It looks like, yeah, you're in Hawaii. For some reason, it's a whole lot more windy there than it is in many places. But good to see you there. I don't know, maybe all the folks are out wandering around on shore. I'm not sure when you're scheduled to leave there, but I don't know. People are probably out doing something, I would guess, if you're not planning to leave in the next couple of hours. And let's see. Lee, yeah, we heard you okay.
I don't know what happened to that noise. You just caught it just right, and haven't really heard it since. But Ron, yeah, good to see you. Sorry about your internet. I don't know. Them's the breaks, dude. Sometimes you luck out, sometimes you don't. Hopefully it'll be fixed before too much longer. Otherwise, I don't know. There might be something else you can do if they're terribly unreliable. You might be able to get a hotspot from someone and check on pricing, do some shopping around or something. But that's a little bit disappointing with the phone company. I don't know. Good luck with that. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, NET. On the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Dave, let's see if I can blast over the interference tonight. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, we got a thumb up there. Okay, that's good. A little bit of interference on the 1.2 gigahertz signal. Maybe my equipment's just not quite tuned in right. I'm not sure what's going on with that because signal quality has dropped off of the mountain. Anyway, well, your story, Dick, about does the sediment plug it up or is it better to drain the sediment out? That sounds like that could be a real Reddit debate there. I remember I had a radiator on a Toyota Celica back in the 80s, and it had a small radiator leak. And so I went to the auto parts store, and there was this product called Stop Leak. And I foolishly thought it would go harmlessly through the entire coolant system until it got to the leaky part, and then it would, just kind of leak like when you cut yourself, and then it would, clot on the outside and stop the leak for a while. Actually, that's not how the pharmaceutical intervention worked. It more like caused coronary thrombosis. The radiator got hopelessly all clogged up in the little part of the radiator that the water goes through to cool. In turn, fortunately, it didn't affect any other part of the coolant system, including, interestingly enough, it didn't affect the heater block. I guess it was because when I poured it in the radiator, it just instantly turned to epoxy glue right there in the radiator. It didn't go very far. So anyway, that didn't work out for me, so I'm not sure how sediment in a hot water tank works out. But I can tell you in this part of the country, many people do not drain their radiators, whereas in hard water country back along Tornado Alley, Texas, Oklahoma, and up in that direction, everybody drains their hot water heater. It's just like something you do every year. But that's because the water is so hard, and many people also buy complete water plants that they put in their garage to soften the water and get all the minerals out. That's, I think, a critical difference. Our water's pretty soft here. Morse code IDs. Well, your geese story, I had my critter excitement for the past couple of days. I've been taking care of someone else's cat, and the cat still, hides around the edge of the couch and stares at me around the corner and doesn't want to come out. But the regular owner will be back tomorrow evening, so I'm going to text that owner and say, would you get your camera out when you open the door, because I would imagine there'll be quite a fuss and a scream, because the first night the cat I opened the door, the cat came yowling down the hallway, upset that its owner had left it there the whole day, and then saw me and froze, and then ran and hid. And so this cat has a lot of personality, just not to be shared with me. Ron, your story frightens me about where the public telecommunications is going. If I understand it correctly, the old number would have taken a week to get repaired, but the new number, they'll just get to you right away. Is that correct? Yeah, if you get a whole new number. It just sounds absolutely bizarre to me. I'm wondering how that's stacking their statistics with the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission, or what they're doing with that, because that does sound strange. Well, anyway, that's it for this round. I'll tell you all about the 5th Saturday drill next time. This is James, WU7N, in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. Well, I've got 71 degrees outside, and it's fairly clear. Weather-wise, beautiful day. Got out in the neighborhood, go for a nice 3-mile walk today. I found myself winded a little bit. I hadn't had much exercise over the last few wet, windy days. But yesterday, with the weather being what it was, I decided to smoke 3 sides of spare ribs. And oh my, they did turn out good. I had about 2 ribs myself, then I gave away the rest of them to friends and family. So anyway, other people were able to enjoy the smoked ribs, and I got reviews on those with a lot of cadoos. So anyway, they went well. I tried something a little bit different with honey, and then the mixture of apple juice and apple cider vinegar, and it really turned out well. So anyway, that was 6 hours of smoking. So anyway, it took a long time, but they turned out fine. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's move it up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Yeah, you got me in there, James. Thank you. No, I'm seeing Dave. There I am, I guess. Well, gee, Bert, you look absolutely fabulous. I think this cruising is really good for you. You look like you might have a little suntan and had your sunglasses on, a nice blue shirt. And I understand that you might not be too far away now. You'll be probably coming home in a week, more than likely. So let's see. It was 81.4 degrees here yesterday, and we were gone in the evening. We went over to brother-in-law's, Joanne's sister, to watch the Kraken game, and so when we came home, the house was pretty hot. I didn't have a chance to air it out, so it was kind of warm. Well, I've been having, trouble with my trees. I put in these I can't say it, arborvitaes, along the east side of our lot, along the fence, and there's kind of a trench between the lawn and the berm that the trees are in. And when it rains, the water precipitates over there, and it's been flooding those trees out, and they're not doing very well. So Armando came over today and put in kind of a sump. The water runs north, and so he put kind of a sump in at the north end, and then he had to tunnel underneath the sidewalk and rotor hammer through the curb so it'll drain in the gutter on the side of the street. That's the way all the downspouts around here do. They drain into the gutter, the curb gutter off of the side of the street. So that's where mine do. Now that's where this will. So I'm anxious to see now if it'll keep a lot of the water from killing those trees. They're about half dead. I'm hoping they'll come out of it. So let's see what else. That's about it, I guess. Yeah, so I'm getting a whole new service. I'm getting a new phone service, and I'm getting new internet and new cable, and it's coming from a new cable company. And they said they couldn't transport my old number until the line was working. So that would have meant a week or 2. So I don't want to wait any longer. So with the new number, if I'd have called sooner, they probably would have got out Friday. But the way it is now, they'll get out on Tuesday morning. So I'll be glad to get. My wife wants us to be like everybody else and have cable TV. I've been using Fire Sticks and antennas and getting outside TV, and she has trouble manipulating all the remotes and everything. She wants one remote in a channel guide so she can see what's coming up. So you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So I guess the experiment with Fire Sticks and outside antennas didn't work, so we're going back to cable. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
There we go. Worked pretty good that time. Well, hello again from N7KC Lee in Port Angeles. Oh, there's another saying. If Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So, hey, you did the right thing probably. Anyway, what I gave away Bert Thunder, actually. He is, I had already looked him up on marine traffic, and so it's ready. But what I wanted to show was his ship is right here, the Carnival Luminosa, and he just left Honolulu, and he's going way up here. So according to the data here, he'll be in on the 4th of May. He's going to go right by my place because they got to pick up a pilot to go into the Puget Sound. So anyway, it's all way ahead. I don't know what time he'll be by here, but oh darn 30 probably. Anyway, so yeah, just look at this. Just look at this, and look at this over here, the Gulf. My gosh! And the red ones are all tankers and so forth. And these orange ones are merchant vessels, and the blue ones are cruise. So looky here. Here's a passenger vessel. Here's Bert. Here's another passenger vessel. Another passenger vessel. Up here's another one. They're all up and down the coast. Look at them over. It's just amazing, I think. Anyway, if you look at here's another view of the ships on the sea. You could practically walk across there for these things. Anyway, I don't have anything else, Dave. Back to you. This is N7KC Lee in Port Angeles.
WW7CS. Thanks for the graphics. It was nice to see all that traffic out there. It almost looks like the airliners over the U.S. Wing-to-wing tip, it seems like. But out there, I guess it's just boat to boat. I guess you could walk across the oceans if you could get from one ship to the other. Who knows? Well, let's move on down to Bert again, N7CS.
Okay, hopefully you can all hear me. So I'm in the cabin now, so it should be a lot quieter. Thumbs up there. Yeah, so a couple things. Yeah, Ron, sorry to hear you're having trouble with the internet there. Dave, when you talked about that good weather and you decided to smoke something different, I thought the conversation was going to go in a totally different way. But it looks like it turned out okay, and it was something to eat there. Let's see, it's 6:30 p.m. ship time right now, so I'm only 2 hours time zone away from Seattle, so getting closer and closer every net. We left Honolulu yesterday before midnight, and Lee just showed you the position on the map of where we are. So we still have 4 full days of sailing to go to make it to Seattle. We're still traveling right under 21 knots. The captain mentioned the other day the top speed of the ship, like if they have to, haul it, they can get to 23. So we're like 2 knots under the top speed of the ship. Let's see. Oh, Richard was wondering where all the people were. I'm going to assume because of the time right now, it being 6:30, that everyone is in dinner. So they are probably eating. I stuck away to get a little bit earlier dinner today because the net was about to start. And let's see. And there were a few people that got off the ship. There was like somewhere between 10 and 30 people that got off the ship early in Honolulu. They weren't supposed to get off, but apparently there's people upset for a couple different reasons. One, some people had the misunderstanding that this was supposed to be like a brand new ship, and it's really just an old Costa ship that was renamed to Carnival. And let me let it drop for a second so I don't overrun this. Okay, synced back up there. Can everybody still hear me? If you can give us a thumbs up. Testing. Okay, there we go. I see for Bob. Yeah, so, oh yeah. The reason that I heard, and I hope this is just a rumor, but I heard that some people decided to get off the ship early is because they were upset that they were serving Coke instead of Pepsi. Hard to imagine how they made that up. That sounds a little crazy there. But let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, I think I briefly mentioned this last time, but there was a ship that was in front of us. It was the Royal Caribbean ship Quantum of the Seas. It made it into the news because they had someone serving Coca-Cola instead of Pepsi Cola. They were upset about Coke instead of Pepsi. I guess they had something there. But yeah, that Quantum of the Sea ship, someone had gone overboard, and apparently they were never able to recover them. But the rumor was that the guy's wife on the Quantum of the Sea ship, like, somehow died during some kind of medical procedure. The emergency procedure they were doing on the ship, and the guy jumped. The husband jumped after it, but that's not been confirmed. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of whoops and stuff. So maybe my audio's not coming in that great or something. But anyway, this is Bert over Echo Link in 7CS. Back to that.
N7CS, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bob in Bothell, K9PQ.
Well, I'm struggling a bit here. I'm sorry to say, whatever the flashing you saw and the cutting out and some wrong pictures, things have, like, everything that could go wrong. My radio is having trouble, my laptop is having trouble, and my main computer, but I think everything is fine now. I think we're all back to normal now. Let's see, I got a few notes. I have, for a time, I was driving older used cars, and you tried stop leak a few times with varying success. Sometimes it worked just fine. I never had it clog everything up, but I did have it sometimes just not stop the leak. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the water heater. I guess being born and raised here, I never knew that people drain their water heaters. I didn't know that was a thing. I did live in Chicago for a time, but there was only the first place I lived did they have to have a water softener. Chicago, all of the well water around there is extremely hard, like a lot of the Midwest. But Chicago proper and many of the suburbs pull water out of Lake Michigan, and it's actually really good water. It's as good as here. Let's see, what else have I got? Oh yeah, the Jim dropping a head and hissing. Well, just be sure you pay attention when that happens. You know, don't ignore that. And I've kind of run out of things to say, so I'm going to send it back to Net K9PQ.
K9PQ. Let's go to Richard K7ATS.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. People getting upset between Pepsi and Coke. I mean, God, that just kind of blows my mind a little bit. I'm not sure I can tell the difference. I mean, if you actually put both, in front of me, I know people have done the taste test. I've seen it on commercials, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Maybe if you told me and I tasted them and right at the moment, but right now, if you put two, a glass of Coke and a glass of Pepsi without any labeling, I don't know. I doubt if I could do it. The big deal today was Debbie took me to more furniture, and we bought a sofa to replace a sofa in our family room that we only had it for 30 years. So, and it wasn't one of these. It wasn't an expensive model when we bought it 30 years ago either. So you can imagine. So Ron, I think you'd be proud of me actually to stretch something out like that as long as we did. And then we still have the actual 30-year-old love seat now. Getting that replaced was a little bit more of a problem. The bill from $1,800 to $2,900, plus they didn't have the recliner, the chair in stock, and they still want you to pay for it, even though they don't have an. And I said, nah, I'll pay for what you have, and we'll deal with the chair later. And then instantly the price comes down to $1,800, and so that was very rewarding on my part. Reward is this. So to drown my sorrows, we went to Jollibee's for Filipino fried chicken. And I haven't had that in a really long time, and I'm glad we went there. They had it at South Center. It's on the JCPenney side of the mall. There's a little entrance by where they have the International Food Court sort of location, and I just love it. I haven't had that in a couple months or longer, and we ate it all up. I mean, it's gone. so that was a good part of what we did today. Spent a lot of money that I don't like to do, but then reward ourselves with fast food. K7ATS, back to net control.
ITX, let's go on to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, my goodness, you spend money on a water heater, you spend money on new furniture, and then you reward yourself by buying chicken. Well, anyway, things are looking up in your household, so congratulations on that. And Roger, the Coke versus Pepsi, Dick, I don't know. I guess you can tell there's a difference between the two, but it's not like you can tell immediately there's a big difference between drinking, say, Miller Lite and Guinness, but it's not Coke and Pepsi. It's just not quite the same. Let's see. Lee, you made some comments about the weather, and someone else did too. There's a Diet Coke, we see. Wonder if there's a difference between Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi. Wonder if maybe that guy jumped off the other ship because they were serving Coke. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, nice day here as well. I was doing a bunch of yard work today, stuff around the house. Today I saw 82 degrees on my thermometer at the house. Yesterday I saw 85 here at the house. Boy, summer's here, but they say it won't be here tomorrow. So anyway, we really had a couple of nice days here, Bert. You missed it. Sorry, but on the other hand, you had some bennies where you were too, so we can't feel too bad for you. Let's see, Jim, stop leak. Yeah, been there, done that. I had similar experiences. Once it screwed up my thermostat. I don't remember if it got stuck in. Someone shipping going to be surprised or something. My thing is not displaying the whole message. Australians expecting to see snow in Seattle. No, it won't be that cold here. But it'll probably be like maybe close to 70 on the 4th, I'm guessing. Maybe in the 60s only, but not snow. They're going to miss it. Oh, let me reset. I think that was K7QJ on that. Let's see here. About the 1.2 gigahertz signal, yeah, mine's kind of going in and out, but it always does that. And for that matter, so does my color. The color's been intermittent for me tonight as well, but more in color than black and white. So, I don't know, Jim. Anyway, Ron, trees. Yeah, you know, I feel for you on that. It seems like we had an abnormally wet winter this year. I wonder if that was part of the problem, and for that matter, it was colder than usual too. I know those trees were planted not too long ago. I don't know how sturdy they are against temperature, but well, maybe Armando can do some miracles. Let's see. Yeah, Bert, 21 knots, man. That ship is creating a lot of wind by itself. No wonder it's windy on deck. I didn't get a close-in view on the AIS, but yeah, you're on your way back anyway. Good deal there. And seems like I wanted to say something else, but I don't remember now. Maybe I'll get you all next go around. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, let's go to Bellevue to James, WU7N.
7N here, thanks Dave. Well, you know, I think there's a famous quote, W.C. Fields or something tried a beer like Miller Lite, and he said something about put it back in the horse. So that was his opinion of light beer. If you're going to drink beer, you might as well drink beer. Now, the one thing that is different, and I did see this at a local Costco right here in Redmond, Washington, and that is Mexico formulated Coca-Cola. And the huge difference is it uses real sugar. It doesn't use corn syrup. And I had that, I remember years ago in the Middle East, and the first time you take it, you know, you can tell who the new guy is because you drink it, and it's like your whole mouth, just every saliva bud in your body explodes at the same time. It's so sweet. So that you would know the difference there, Jim, between, you know, Coca-Cola and Pepsi if it was an overseas formulation using that good Cuban sugar. Thursday, okay, I was called. A friend had kind of an emergency. His she'll be 104 years old this summer. He got into a conflict. She had to be taken to a tax advisor. She does not drive anymore, but she was going through the tax information and decided the tax advisor had made too many errors and fired him. So the trip was no longer needed. Now, when I'm 104 years old, I hope I can find all the errors from the tax advisor and fire him. That is amazing. Yeah, you talk with this lady, you would never know she's 104 years old, although she does look very elderly. Let me just say, Bert, though, if someone's getting upset about Coke versus Pepsi, or, you know, how the little medical thing didn't work out, so they get off the ship unexpectedly, that's going overboard, in my opinion. Boom, boom. So again, we're getting close here, 15 minutes to the top of the hour. There was a fifth Saturday drill today for statewide. There was, interestingly enough, a DOT drill that was going at the same time. So just like in a real disaster, I think people had to be two places at once or decide which place they were going to be in or something like that. But it went really well. First time I've been in a fire station physically, gosh, I guess in 3 years. So it went well, but this one was different because we had the community emergency response teams working with the Bellevue communication support people who were working with everyone else. So that was interesting to work with people that are more search and rescue oriented, as opposed to the people that you know, are more communications oriented. So that all went quite well. And then I also actually went to the EOC for the hot wash afterwards. And my goodness, the food there was just delicious, but there weren't that many people there to eat it, so they said take as much as you want, but I just took one plate home with me because I seem to be really healing up. I'm declaring myself healed when I have the same problem all the other fat old men have, that I'm getting fat now. I mean, it was just a year ago, the morning project was to eat the oatmeal. Wow, are we ever past that? Now it's don't eat the entire pizza. Okay, that's good news. I do have to get a new scale. Mine is clearly broken and giving me wrong numbers. So anyway, with that, this is James, WW7N. I'm going to turn it back to our net control, Dave in Seattle. Go ahead.
WW7N, and it's time for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Pepsi versus Coke. When I smoke a pork shoulder, I generally inject the pork shoulder with either Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and it works as a tenderizer, and so you do a lot of injection with that. But I have noticed when I use Pepsi, I sort of get an odor like sort of a Lysol smell for me is what I detect when I use Pepsi, and don't get that with the Coca-Cola. So anyway, my favorite is to inject with Coca-Cola, and that's what I've done in the past, and probably will continue on that way. So anyway, so much for that. And we'll go over to Ron, who will have a new phone number here shortly, and hopefully some internet service. KD7QKU, it's yours.
Thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group again, KD7QKU. Well, I must say I've been receiving a really nice picture, nice for me, from 1.2 from Cougar Mountain. Everybody's had color, probably a P3 or 3.5 picture or something. My picture isn't as good because I'm not sending in as good a picture, but once in a while I have a little bit of color on myself. So I never did answer Richard's question about the water heater. I've never drained a water heater in a house. I drain the water heater in the motorhome. I drain it every winter. And I have taken the heating element. So the motorhome water heater is either propane or electric. And we have traveled quite a bit, you know, in other states and stuff. And so I pulled the electric heating element out of it, and it was coated with crud. So I'd taken it out in the garage and used the electric wire brush that's on the grinder to clean the crud off of it, because I'm sure it would work better if it had all the crud off it. And I imagine the inside of the hot water tank's the same way, but there's nothing I can do about that. And new furniture, well, that's nice, Richard. You probably need them, and it'll be nice to have something new. And I'm wondering if your new recliner is an electric recliner. The last recliner that we bought, I bought an electric one, and you have a little remote control, and it tips back, and the feet, you know, tip up and everything. It's kind of nice until you want to get out of it real fast, and then it takes a minute for it to come back to normal. But I've enjoyed that. What else? Yeah, I'm hoping that that the drain that Armando put in will help the trees. It was last winter they were like sitting in water all the time. So I'm hoping that they won't sit in so much water now. What else is going on? I guess we'll have to go back over to Doug and Phyllis to see the Kraken. I was hoping the Kraken would win last night, but they didn't. So we'll see what happens in Colorado. It's interesting. They're transmitting hockey game. The New York Islanders and somebody else is playing. They're transmitting it on Channel 4, and I can get it on the antenna. But they never, you know, transmit anything with any of our local teams other than the Seahawks. You can always get the Seahawks on TV, but you can't get the Mariners, or you couldn't get the Kraken, or any of those other teams. So anyway, seems kind of funny. And as far as Pepsi and Coke, oh my, I think I can tell the difference. I prefer Pepsi. I think it's sweeter. and have a little more robust flavor. Once upon a time, Joanne made a pot roast, and she put whatever we had, Pepsi or Coke, into the pot roast. And we had I think probably had Doug and Phyllis over, and their neighbors, Rosie and Floyd. And Rosie's Italian, and she's a really good cook. And Floyd ate Joanne's pot roast with Pepsi or Coca-Cola in it, and he goes, "Oh my golly, that's the best pot roast I've ever tasted in my life." I'll never forget, I looked across the table, and Rosie, his wife, was just glaring at him. She was really upset. All right, enough of that. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, very good. This is Lee N7KC in Port Angeles. Well, I'm trying to get a JPEG. I just printed a JPEG off of the spectrum analyzer here, and I was going to show you what the local club did today. And you know, I'm using this Logitech capture thing for the camera, and by golly, I don't seem to have the bandwidth right now to pull this off. Anyway, darn, that's a bummer. In fact, I'm all but stalled in the water here, Dave. I don't even hear you hearing me if I got enough bandwidth to work. So I'm going to send it back to you. Oh, hang on there. Maybe I'm going to be able to do this after all. Where is that? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Stand by. The photo is finally starting to render here. Oops, I should have started my timer. Hang on, it's trying to get it up on. Gracious sake. Too much video processing for this machine to handle. I'm going to not use that Logitech capture anymore. Okay, I think I'm about to get the photo here. Okay, stand by. Okay, I'm going to go to share here and see if it has come up. Not yet. Well, I guess it's a bust, so maybe after net or something I can do it. So anyway, well, it's been very interesting, by golly. And yes, Ron, you got your problems, but you're getting it worked out. Good for you. I don't have anything else to add. See you a little later. This is 7KC and Lee in Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave.
7KC, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bert, N7CS. That does seem to have good connections.
Okay, start my timer there. Let's see. Hopefully everybody can hear me all right. Okay, got the thumbs up. Let's see. So, I didn't mention what I did when we stopped in Hawaii, in Honolulu there. So, it took a bus tour around the island. It just stopped at a few places for photos. It was a brand new Mercedes bus. They said it was one of the first Mercedes buses to come in the U.S. So, had that new bus smell. It was very, very nice. And let's see, well, we stopped at, the various famous spots like the blowhole where the water shoots up, and it also was near the beach where they filmed that old movie From Here to Eternity. Various good elevation spots for photos, so I took lots of photos. When we got back from the bus tour, I went on foot to just did some exploring around the port area. We were right in Honolulu, so I could walk to like some cool places. So I went to walk where they had that famous statue of King, I can't pronounce his last name, but it's the one, that statue they always show when you're watching like the new Hawaii 5.0 show. I don't know if the old show did the same thing with the statue or not. But that was fun. I got some pictures of that. And then I went, since we were back in the U.S., I went ahead and went back to McDonald's. Even though they had a McDonald's in every other port I went to, none were within convenient walking distance. So finally got to go back and get some breakfast food there. So anyway, that's it for now. This is Bird over satellite on Echolink N7CS. Back to that.
CS, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ.
Hey, well, I misspoke earlier when I said everything was back to normal. My reception of the repeater has been terrible all night. I've been struggling to understand a lot of what people have been saying, and it's not on their end, it's on mine. This is baffling to me. What makes this happen? I think I need to go through all of my cables, check the connections, clean things out, just to make sure it's not that. But it's not all the time. It doesn't happen all the time, and so we'll see. Hopefully that will get things working back to normal again for me. What else? Boy, let's see, I had some notes, I thought. Oh yeah, don't eat the whole pizza. Definitely a worthy goal. I don't always achieve that goal, but it's a worthy goal. And yeah, and as far as the Coke Pepsi thing, well, back when I drank sugar soda, I could easily tell the difference between Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Now that I'm drinking Diet, I rarely drink Diet Pepsi, but I think it tastes about the same as Diet Coke. There's also Coke Zero, I think, or I think they call it Coke Zero Sugar now. I think they've added that on the end of it, which does taste different than Diet Coke, and I don't like it as well. But what I normally drink, as far as diet soda, when I do drink it, is actually Diet Mountain Dew. Jollibee Chicken. I've never heard of Jollibee Chicken before. I looked for it. There's only one in the state. It's at South Center. I used to go to South Center a lot when I was younger, when I was growing up at Eastgate, by where Ron used to live. We would go to South Center. That was the big shopping mall that we would go to. But I haven't been in a lot of years, and I don't remember there being a Jollibee there. I may have to make a trip down there sometime just to try it. Okay, I'll send it back to that, K9PQ.
PQ disconnected.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go on to Richard, K7ITX.
Guys, all I'm gonna have to say 73. It's just that time of night for me. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks a lot for all you guys showing up. This is K7ITX. Back to net control.
7ITX, thanks for joining the net. Well, let's go on for a final for N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Yeah, Dick, good to see you. Anyway, thanks for popping in here. Dave, marinade with Coke, not Pepsi. Thank you for that tip. I'm going to have to try that sometime. Never quite got around to that. Let's see. Oh, Jim, drink real beer. Huh. I don't know how I got this taste for Guinness, but someone told me once, yeah, you drink that, it'll put hair on your chest. And I'm going, okay, could that be why I have hairy man boobs? I don't know. There's got to be some explanation. With that, I think the witching hour is upon us. KD7ZYM N7QO.
QO, thanks for that. And it's time to wrap up the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmission. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, signing off the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all.
KC disconnected. N7CS disconnected.